variety pack. Food and friends with Canada's best. From east to west, there and back. Eat North Variety Pack. 'Cause variety's the spice of life.
Hello, everybody. We are back for another episode of the Eat North Variety Pack. Do you guys like our new theme song? I think it's pretty good.
I think it's fantastic because, come on,
yes.
You've got your own theme song. Come on.
It's pretty amazing.
It's a nice ditty. It's already stuck in my head. I'm digging it.
I've been listening to it all morning, and it's really great. So singers Mariah Stokes and Devin Cooper, two Calgary-based country singers, took it upon themselves to create that wonderful jingle for us. So I'm pretty happy about it. But how's your week been, you two?
You know what? I think I'm getting used to it, and I think that's a whole issue that people are thinking that they're stuck in their house.
Yeah.
When in fact you're safe in your house, and you're doing Canada a really big favor by staying in your house, so that our essential workers and everybody else can go out there and support us. So we support them by staying home, and so I think spinning your brain around to go, I am doing a really good thing for our country. It just gives you a positive attitude, and so that's what we've been doing here, and also doing our insane videos for Instagram. So.
Yeah, I couldn't agree.
We've been enjoying it here. A lot of family time, more than we're used to, but we're pretty tight trifecta now for sure. The one thing, of course, is trying to work from home with a toddler, and my wife and I both still have full-time jobs, which we're very thankful for, of course. But just trying to find the time to do that. I feel like I'm back in university and doing a lot of work at night, which seems weird, but we're getting by.
One thing I thought by now I would be missing dine-in restaurant experiences a lot more than I have been, but that's only because so many restaurants now are doing takeout and delivery and doing it in such interesting ways. That's really sort of helped curb my hunger or my longing to be in a restaurant. I really appreciate what local restaurants are doing right now. It's really interesting.
And as a sidebar, because we don't eat out as much because I have a nut allergy, so I get kind of freaked out about that. But I had fresh fish delivered to me from a fishmonger, and he's doing that in the city of Toronto.
That's
so
great.
I just got 6 pounds of fresh halibut that we're going to cook up. Not all of the 6 pounds. I'm going to freeze some. But so I love that people are reinventing their businesses to accommodate and still, so they're still in business and I'm supporting them. So I'm feeling really excellent about my fish delivery. I'll post the website down after the show's over.
That'd be great. And how about you, Mike? How are things in Winnipeg in that respect?
Yeah, so we've been keeping track at work between everyone that's offering takeout and delivery and what have you. And it's amazing, just of course, it's been a month now, but everyone who has adapted to it. So one of the biggest fishmongers here, Gimli Fish, they started doing deliveries this week. It was also interesting for this week. We have a new article up on all the people that are supplying Easter dinners and what have you. And it's pretty cool to see that working. And just people there's crazy deals out there on larger family style things, or deals for $100 where you get 4 bottles of wine, pasta, salad, and stuff like that. So it's been amazing. Obviously those margins are going to be very tight for the grocery stores and for the restaurants doing these, but it's really interesting to see that they are going for it.
No, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And yeah, we've pre-ordered an Easter dinner from a restaurant called Annabelle's Kitchen here in Calgary. And again, it's a great value, an Italian feast, so to speak. And it just feels good to be able to still support those businesses during this time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
okay, I have a question. Okay,
yeah.
I don't know. You guys can jump in, but I'll jump in. Have you guys noticed that there's a plethora of people doing cooking videos on social media?
Yes.
Everybody is now a cook, and I mean, some of them are hilarious, some of them are excellent, and I'm just being inundated all day long by all these cooking videos. What do you guys think?
I'll go first for sure. Actually, I just wrote about this yesterday. We have a new article up too on City Grub on that. The first one who was really starting to do it here was Ben Kramer, was doing these really cool Instagram story ones that were just photos. So he just took you by in a 7-step process on how to do stuff. But then when you started digging in, one of the cool things we were really seeing too is a lot of the cafes doing them, so that they'll get beans delivered to your door and teaching you how to properly use your AeroPress, or what kind of grind you should do, and all about aerating your coffee when you're pouring it and stuff like that. So that's been really cool to see.
I love that idea. That's really cool. What about you, Dan?
There's a lot of different people, you're right, on Instagram, especially doing, I don't know, cooking demos, just sort of showcasing how they're making food at home. And there's one country artist, actually, he's based in Winnipeg. His name's David James. And he's always been really into food and drink. But now that he's stuck at home, he actually has created his own Instagram channel just for his food, cooking and cocktails. So that's been fun to watch. In a somewhat similar vein, there's an Edmonton chef, Steve Brochu, and he's doing virtual cooking classes now where you can order the ingredients, you bring them to get delivered to your house, and then from there you set up a Skype date where he actually cooks the recipes with you. So I feel like that's a lot of fun too. So it's been interesting to see people get creative. But since Eat North, we do dabble in a lot of music related events. It is interesting to see how many musicians have sort of segued into cooking online. And Serena Ryder is a great example too. I'm a huge fan, and she does a lot of cooking videos as well. So it's fun to watch people cook at home that you might not expect to cook at home, you know?
Yeah. The other one, I totally forgot to mention this as well, too. Our West End biz here. So the West End in Winnipeg has got all these great little hole-in-the-wall restaurants. And what they've been doing is hosting virtual dinner parties now. So you sign up, you buy your ticket, and then they'll deliver from a particular restaurant. You join all these other people on screen, and then they do kind of a pub-style quiz while you're eating. The winner will get a prize with it the following week.
That sounds pretty fun. Yeah, I should do one of those. I feel like I usually have virtual dates with my friends, but it's basically just drinking wine. So maybe more fun to incorporate some food at some level. But anyway, I've been cooking a lot more at home. So do you guys have any tips and tricks that you think are underrated that a lot of people might not know about that you like to, whip up at home?
Okay, this is called La Bamba. It's an antipasto sauce, and I discovered it in my Italian grocery store about 5 or 6 years ago. You're supposed to eat it on a cracker, but I use it as an ingredient. So it spices up and adds some flavor to a pasta dish, to omelets, I even put it in salad dressing last night. So it is like my secret ingredient. As you can see, I hardly have any left, but I did find one more jar in the pantry because I always buy one and then put one in the pantry. So I'm so glad I was so organized before this all happened. So la 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 bamba. It's really good.
What's in the sauce or in the condiment?
Okay, so the list of ingredients are sunflower oil, sweet peppers, eggplant, hot chili peppers, mushrooms, artichokes, natural flavors, and citric acid.
So that's a flavor bomb right there.
It's a flavor bomb, and it just kicks everything up unbelievably. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Great. What about you, Mike?
Our 2-year-old is now sold in the background. He's singing La Bamba, which he just learned. Fittingly enough, so now he wants that. The one I've been doing a lot of is coconut aminos. I don't know why they call it a soy sauce substitute because it's much too sweet for that, I find. But I almost use it like a balsamic vinegar, but more with like Asian-style dishes. The one thing we love is massaging kale with it before you bake your kale for your kale chips.
Yeah.
In a general marinade or what have you. And then the other one is that classic, I think it was I'm pretty sure it was like Joël Robuchon, who was always talking about soy sauce and butter being like the ultimate thing when you melt them together. The coconut aminos and butter together works really well. And I've actually been marinating steaks with that before we'll throw it on the grill. You just kind of got to flip the steak a bit more, though, because there's obviously a bit of sugar content in there that will start to caramelize a bit too fast. But yeah, I love it. It's got a really deep flavor, sweet, and still very savory.
Okay, well let's shift from foodie to quite lowbrow. I'm gonna give a nice shout out to there we go, shaker Parmesan right there.
Oh, right on! I saw that on your toast.
I know.
Yeah,
so, not a gourmet ingredient by any means, but what I like about shaker parm is I feel like almost everyone has it in their fridge, and typically I would just use it late at night after the bar, be like shaking it on top of greasy pizza slices. But there's a lot of different ways to use it at home, and one of my favorite ways, again, this is not gourmet by any means, is that I mix it in with a little bit of water and then mayonnaise, and I brush my grilled cheese with it on the outside of the grilled cheese.
Really?
Yeah, so it's a lot of umami, so to speak, and a nice little cheesy, crispy, not edges, but topping for the grilled cheese. I love it.
Clapson, you make the best grilled cheese sandwiches. He came over when my mom died and did the most wonderful thing. He made me grilled cheese sandwich and tomato soup, and it was so wonderful. But you put mayonnaise on your bread.
That's the trick. Mike, do you do that? I feel like that's fairly common.
No. When we were kind of doing this food truck in Kenora one summer, what we were doing was we'd make. I'm sorry, this is going to sound highbrow, but brown butter sage. So when we'd make our crispy sage, you take that green brown butter, and that's what we brush the top of the bread with. And then we would take all the crispy sage leaves and roll them up in your hand and then put them all into the grated cheese. So that was like kind of our high-end one with a little smoked paprika ketchup. But
that sounds delicious. Well,
yeah, but I like your idea with the cheese on the. What do you mix it with? You said just water and what?
Just powdered Parmesan, a little bit of water, just to make it more like a paste, and then you take that paste, mix it with a bit of mayonnaise, which I realize if you haven't put mayonnaise on the outside of your grilled cheese, it might sound weird, but it essentially just helps it cook and crisp up and turn really golden. So the Parm is just adding a bit more flavor to that, a bit more cheese, So we all need more cheese in our lives. But maybe we should shift away from shaker Parmesan and talk to a chef that actually really focuses on local ingredients and sustainability, and that would be Chef Christy Peters in Saskatoon. So if you two aren't familiar with Christy Peters, she owns 2 restaurants, The Hollows and Primal, definitely one of Saskatchewan's most well-known chefs and restaurateurs, and she's actually a judge right now on the Food Network show Wall of Chefs. So I'm going to bring Christy on here to say hello. Let's see if we can get her on. Yay. Oh, there we go. Christy's here. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. How's Saskatoon?
It's beautiful. It's like sunny and bright, and the snow is melting. It's incredible.
I feel like spring is technically already here, but I think here in Calgary and in Saskatoon, we have similar weather patterns. So we still have a lot of snow to melt through, but we'll get there soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So do you want to maybe talk a little bit about how COVID has affected restaurants in Saskatoon and what you're doing to still try to have a successful business amid all this chaos?
Yeah, a lot of restaurants decided to close. We, however, decided to stay open, which I'm really happy about because the response from everyone has been incredible. Just people really wanting to support local. We're honestly busier than ever right now. Definitely not with the same profit margins because we aren't selling as much liquor and things like that. And we've had to lower our prices and make them more user friendly for everyone and things like that. But we're on a skeleton crew. There's only 5 of us left, and we're just working.
I think a little bit of a freeze there.
Been great.
Yeah. You know what I love about your philosophy is, and if you want to talk about it, Dan, I don't mean to butt in, but I'm so impressed with your down to earth and your sustainable and your get real cooking. And just give me a little, background on that, or just talk about sustainability in general, whatever you want to do. Just, I'm a fan.
Yeah. Well, that's so nice. Well, it's just the only way I was business and for things to have meaning for me. So that's the meaning behind my cooking, is not wasting anything and using what is in abundance and using what's in season and letting nothing go to waste, really, as a business owner and as a chef. So it's been a mad scramble around here, even just tying up all the loose ends with any food waste and making sure that we're using every little bit of everything we can and incorporating it into our new menus. And we've always run the businesses that way. So this kind of shift hasn't been that extreme for us, which has been it kind of finally feels worth it. It feels like we were ahead of the curve a little bit, which was nice.
Preparing for the apocalypse.
I use the hashtag, sorry, Dan, I use the hashtag waste not, want not all the time because, we throw away at least 40% of our food. So kudos to you for being so diligent, and you're right, you're a trendsetter. So Dan, your question, sorry.
So a lot of people might not know this, but you actually worked at Noma recently for 3 months, right before the end of 2019. You were there for 3 months working in the fermentation laboratory. Is that the correct word for that?
Yeah, absolutely. I am so lucky. I think now that all this has happened, they've kind of had to shut Noma down. So I was one of the last batches of interns that got to be in that space. So I'm just so grateful, even more so just thinking about how I was able to get that knowledge right before. Learned so much about how to make miso and how to make soy sauce and how to preserve and just how to ferment and just so many different things and using local ingredients. And I'm so inspired right now to have this time to be able to actually make some of that come to life in my own kitchen. It's my own little test kitchen now because it's empty.
So at your restaurants, people might not realize this, but when it's springtime, it's generally warmer out. People want fresher, lighter foods, but nothing's actually growing yet. So how do you combat that as a local restaurant owner, locally focused restaurant owner?
Well, we do have a horticulturist on staff that grows vegetables for us all year round. And so in the winter, when she can't grow it outdoors, she has grown us a beautiful basement garden. So it's got aquaponics involved as well. So there's fish that are feeding the plants and vice versa. So it's like a symbiotic relationship. And we have like all our own grown in-house greens, herbs. We have so much basil right now, so much parsley, so much dill, these beautiful edible flowers. It's actually in such abundance right now. I'm just making a bunch of kimchi out of all the pak choi that we just harvested. So we've always got stuff coming in. And then also just using all the preserves in the cellar right now. We're opening jars like crazy and taking things out of the freezer. There's so much abundance. I'm so happy to be able to use it all right now.
Mm-hmm.
With such delicate ingredients, like especially using lots of vegetables and stuff like that, is it hard to translate it into a takeout container? Like not just like presentation wise, but even like the steaming of the hot food? Did you have to do like some like experimenting with that to see how everything was going to travel?
Yeah, like we definitely just decided to go for it, and we kind of found our like we're doing mostly primals food right now, which actually travels really well. We've just adjusted the consistency of the sauces and just cooked the noodles a little bit differently. And we make all our own noodles in-house out of local Saskatchewan grains. So we've used like harder wheat to make sure that the noodles will hold better, and made the sauces a little bit more loose so that they travel a bit better. And honestly, it's all been really good. I actually ordered my own food to go the other day and was really impressed with how it traveled. So I was very happy that it has been going really well.
Well, you're basically my hero now. You understand? Because I am so about don't throw anything out. What can I make with this? So I'm worshiping at your Instagram site now. I wish I lived there so I could come to your restaurant, but I'm kind of far away.
Oh, that would be so lovely. I would give you a tour.
Okay, it's a date when I'm out there, whenever that is.
And just before we say goodbye, are you still currently on the TV show Wall of Chefs, or have your episodes aired already?
My episodes have aired for this season, and the season finale was just on Monday. Oh. So next season I'll be back.
Okay.
So I'll be in a couple episodes next season. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, that's great. I feel like it's very rare they have celebrity chefs from the prairies, and I know even Mandel Hitler from Winnipeg is also on the show with you as well.
Absolutely, it was so much fun meeting everyone, and oh man.
Cool. Well, I think season 2 will be really exciting to watch.
Hilarious. So we had a great time.
Oh, no, I bet. So anyway, Chrissy Peters, we'll let you go because you have to get ready in the kitchen to make a dish with Mairlyn, right?
Absolutely. I'm excited.
Okay, awesome. We'll see you in a little bit.
I too.
Bye, Chrissy.
I'm going to fangirl all over you, okay?
All right, bye for now.
Bye.
Chrissy's great. I love what she's all about. Her restaurants are fantastic. And there's so many people that talk about, supporting local and growing their own. But she is someone, along with her husband, Michael, they are two restaurateurs that actually do follow that philosophy. And I feel like it's a lot more uncommon than you think these days, despite what you understand remarketing with other restaurants. But yeah.
Yeah, I need to get her grilled cabbage family style dish that she did at the Prairie Grid. I think that was 2 years ago.
No, 4 almost. That was a long time ago.
4? Oh,
it will be.
Yeah,
we're getting old, Mike. Yeah.
Still remember it 4 years ago, right? So there you go.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Right?
And you've got a little kid.
Oh gosh, you're telling me. Well, I'm really, really excited about our next guest. Do either of you watch the Great Canadian Baking Show?
I've seen one episode so far, but I'll commit to it more because I'm not much of a baker myself.
Yeah, no, me either. That's why I like the show, because I would never want to bake things. I just want to look at them and then ideally eat them in a perfect world. But this show, it airs on CBC. They're currently filming the 4th season now, I believe. But we have the illustrator for the show, Kenna Barnes, here. And so Kenna helps create. So when a contestant talks about a dessert they're going to make, Kenna takes that description and the final product and post-production of the show, she actually helps it come to life visually as an illustration. So very, very cool job. And right now she's doing something really interesting during the time of social distancing as well. So I'm just going to bring Kenna on here to say hello, and we'll chat a bit about her work with the show and then what she's doing right now. Kenna, how are you?
Hi.
How are things?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, thanks for being on the show. We're really excited to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So are you in your studio right now? I see a lot of illustrations right behind you there.
My studio. It's my living room.
Okay.
But I have my desk set up, and then my boyfriend has his desk set up as well. So it's our little makeshift studio.
Nice. I love it. So how did you get involved with the Great Canadian Baking Show in the first place?
I was working for a company called Smiley Guy, and they are in the same building as Proper Television, who do Great Canadian Baking Show. Mm-hmm. So they reached out and asked if anybody at our studio wanted to do these illustrations, and I was a huge fan of the British baking show, so I immediately was jumping up and down saying, pick me. And then I did have to audition, and I sent in illustrations, and it's been great so far.
That's really cool. Again, I like the show a lot. I like it because it's a competition show, but it's not about drama. It's just about people that seem like really good, honest Canadians just trying to make a delicious dessert. And when they get sent home, I feel like everyone on the show is crying. Normally you watch Top Chef and people are happy. So I think it's a fun show to be a part of. And actually, Mike Green was actually on MasterChef Canada. And I don't know, Mike, I feel like it's day and night between Great Canadian Baking Show and what you experienced.
Yeah, it was stressful. Those 2.5 months or whatever, I think that took a lot of years off my life, for sure.
So I wanted to show a couple just screen grabs from last season where you did some illustrations of cakes. So can you just talk about the process of how you turn someone's dessert into that beautiful illustration?
Yeah, so it's done in post-production. I generally have an idea of what they were going for, so if it didn't work out, I can wiggle together what they were trying to do. And so I start with the sketch, go into the outline and the color, and that's about it. Not too complicated.
They're absolutely stunning, and I think sometimes, dare I say, I feel like sometimes the illustrations look much more beautiful than the actual end result of the baker, depending on the episode.
Yeah. Sometimes the bakers message me and say, thank you for getting it how I wanted it. I love your illustration of my cake.
Yeah, but I think it's so true to life, though. The way that you imagine something is not always how it turns out, right? It's like the Nailed It series is a pointing case of that. But no, I think that your illustrations are absolutely stunning. And during this time of social distancing, you're also trying to encourage people to still be inspired and get creative at home. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I mentioned to Eat North earlier in the week that I needed a project for during this quarantine. I get really restless if I'm not doing something.
Right.
So I decided to do these coloring pages, which I had wanted to do for a long time, but life got in the way. I didn't really quite have time for it. Mm-hmm. So I've just been doing one a day. And I'm trying really hard to encourage people to color because it is actually one of the best ways to reduce your anxiety. Mm-hmm. And drawing them is also a really great way for me to reduce my anxiety. So we're all working hand in hand.
No. Yeah, I was going to ask that because adult coloring books now are so popular because they are supposed to be so therapeutic to do it. So to make it on your end is actually therapeutic as well. You don't actually find it stressful that that someone's going to be coloring into this and you need to make it really perfect.
No, I try to think about the coloring in terms of how I'm laying it out. I don't want to put too much green in one spot or that type of thinking. But the actual drawing is really relaxing, especially the outlining part of it. I usually just plug into a podcast and get really focused on it.
And right now, you also did a giveaway recently where you had people submit their desserts and you're going to create a piece of artwork for them.
Yeah, so I did have a winner, and I'm actually midway through drawing her cake right now.
Oh, great.
So that's pretty exciting. I'll be sharing that soon, and then when all of this is over, I'll be able to print it and send it off to her.
Oh, that's really nice. And I think what you're doing with the coloring sheets is just a way to get people to look forward to something every week. That's sort of why we're doing this show too, is that, you can get lost in the days, is it Monday? Is it Thursday? Do I even care what day it is? But I feel like the fact that you're releasing these coloring sheets every week and giving people something to look forward to is a really wonderful thing to do with your talents during these really stressful times, tough times.
Well, thanks. That means a ton. People tagging me in the ones that their kids have colored have been the highlight of my day.
That's really cute. And so last question. I know that when people are drawing or they're an artist of sort of any sort of medium. There's always things that they don't love about their job. Is there one like fruit or vegetable or item that you don't like drawing that is hard or frustrating?
Well, this will be a shout out to one of our editors. We had a joke during season 1 that raspberries were like the death of me. And I don't mind drawing them now, but in season 1, for some reason, we had quite a few raspberry desserts. Yeah. And I was just drawing raspberry after raspberry, which obviously have a lot of little circles. Yeah. And outlining can get a little sore on your hand after a while. So yeah. that was the doom for me in season 1.
That's awesome. I knew there'd be one, you know? So anyway, thank you so much for chatting with us, Kenna. We're going to post a link to your Instagram on our Facebook page after. And if anyone out there, if you haven't checked out her artwork, it's wonderful. And definitely watch the Great Canadian Baking Show when it premieres, probably in the fall. We'll see.
I don't know. Yeah. COVID has everything stopped.
Yeah,
now,
so who knows what's life at this point. Anyway, okay. Thank you so much, Kenna. Great talking with you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, cheers. Have a good day.
Dan, you should probably take note if you get another food tattoo. Maybe don't do a raspberry because
I don't know if I should take my shirt off on the show, but I do have raspberries on my shoulder.
You have raspberries, yeah. And did the tattoo artist complain that it was gonna like?
It's lots of things here. No, but my tattoo artist is one of my good friends from high school, so I feel like she probably wouldn't complain. She just smile and work away. It is beautiful, by the way, but I feel like I don't want to take my shirt off, especially after being in quarantine for a while. He's not too active, so anyway, I love Kenna's art.
I'm not wearing pants today. No, it's okay.
I'm wearing shorts. Aren't we all wearing shorts? Like, why wear pants these days? But I digress. I think that we have Christy all set up in the kitchen. So Mairlyn, are you ready to head in there and cook something up with her?
I am so ready and so excited.
Okay. All right. Well, here we go.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to be in your kitchen. I feel like a voyeur, like I'm like sneaking into your restaurant. Oh my goodness. Hi, how are you?
I'm great. It's good to see you, Mairlyn.
It's good to be in your kitchen. All right, now, so where you're in the Hollow?
Yes. So we're in the restaurant The Hollows. I just thought for an Easter side dish, it would be so fun to do something with carrots because that always makes people think about the Easter bunny. And I just think that's a cute little thing. I think everyone needs a carrot dish somewhere in their Easter preparation.
Well, I have 3 bags of carrots in my downstairs fridge. I forgot that I already had 2 and I bought another one. So I am dying to know what to do with them. Now, what are you going to make for us today?
So this is just an easy side dish that you can do with things that are already inside your house. It was all just things that I found around the restaurant that needed to be used, exactly like what you said. So we've got our root cellar carrots here. And what we're making today is yogurt marinated kind of a tandoori carrot. And so we've got our special Hollows spice blend. So that's just made with a little bit of cinnamon, some mace, some nutmeg, and some coriander.
I just put in for a minute. If you don't have any mace, I know I do, but a lot of people don't. Mm-hmm. So coriander, nutmeg, and cinnamon, would that be good enough, or do I really need that mace?
You don't really need the mace. The mace is actually the outer coating of the nutmeg, so you could just put a little extra nutmeg in there, and you would be fine.
Perfect.
So that was just something I had that I needed to use up. So I've been cutting up these carrots. So I've got these beautiful heirloom carrots that were grown in our garden. We got them from the root cellar. So I've just cut them into rustic chunks. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of this yogurt. So I actually made this yogurt. You can use store-bought, but we had dairy to use up in the restaurant, so I made some yogurt. And so we're just going to marinate these carrots with some yogurt. We're going to do a little sprinkle of salt and then a nice big sprinkle of this beautiful spice mix, because once that spice mix coats the carrots and once it hits the oven, the smell is incredible. It'll just really wake up your whole household. They'll say, what is going on? And they won't believe it's something as simple as a carrot.
Well, I embrace all produce. And so when I heard that you were going to do something with carrots, it's like, I love this woman, and you're sustainable. You made your own yogurt. Come on. You're using stuff in your pantry. It's so wonderful. Yes. Okay. So you tossed it up.
So I tossed it up, and I'm going to leave this to marinate from anywhere for an hour to overnight. So it doesn't matter. The longer, the better. But if you're in a hurry, just an hour will do.
Okay. So, perfect. In the refrigerator.
Yeah. And so then all I did was lay my carrots out on my tray and then roast them at 450, so a really hot heat. for 15 minutes. And so we really wanted to get that caramelization, the char on the carrot, and really get those spices to come alive. So the smell is just incredible. It's really, really fragrant. And then we're just going to assemble our dish. So
I love it. Okay, so I love the fact that you've got the caramelization from the carrots, that's sweet, but you've also got the kind of spicy thing going on. I'm really excited. I'm so making this. Okay, so now, is there anything else you have to do?
Yeah, no. So now I just pulled from my freezer a little bit of pesto. And so this is a carrot top pesto that I made in the summer. So you know me, I like to use the whole vegetables. So I never let the carrot tops go to waste. So I'm just going to put that down on the plate here.
All right, now I have, I call them flavor bombs, and I put them in my freezer. I grow a lot of basil and oregano, and I do a basil, obviously, that I don't put any nuts in it. I have a nut allergy, so if you have any kind of pesto, would that be good enough for this?
Absolutely. You could honestly, this is my fancy carrot top pesto, but you could honestly use a basil pesto or anything. And honestly, this one's made with pumpkin seeds, so it's you can really use anything.
Gorgeous. All right.
And then we're just going to just have some fun, place our carrots down on top of the pesto. It doesn't have to be fancy. The more rustic it is, the better.
I love it.
The pesto has a little bit of garlic in it, so when the warm carrots kind of hit that pesto, the fragrance just comes out even more, and then there's that warm spice. So we're just going to pile those on, and then we're going to finish it with some currants that I've just plumped up with a little hot rum. And so that's going to give us a little bit of the yogurt-covered raisin kind of effect. A little sweetness to go with that chewy carrot. And then we're going to finish it off with a little bit of yogurt that I've thinned out with a bit of lemon juice and a little bit of cold-pressed canola oil.
Do you know, I have all of this stuff in my house, except for I'm not a big rum drinker, so I'm going to soak mine in whiskey. Or maybe could I even do like a little Grand Marnier, a little bit of orange in there, a little bit of orangey thing going on?
Oh, it would be so beautiful. And
all right.
A little bit of chili flakes if you like spice, and it's done.
Oh my God, this is doable, and it's like high-end, rustic, gorgeous. Thank you. You've just elevated my dinner, which has been getting kind of, anyway, so thank you so much. Yay.
Thank you, Mairlyn.
My pleasure.
Oh, that was great. I love Christy. That dish is so simple, but it can be so impactful on the dinner table, I think.
Oh, you know what? And I did fangirl all over her. It's embarrassing. But anyway, I just am such a big fan that she's using simple ingredients and understanding in this time that a lot of us are struggling to get food on our table. So to make it realistic, approachable, but with a bit of a spin on it, I'm really kudos to her.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And Mike, did you ever meet Christy? I know she's been to Winnipeg for Raw Almond, the Frozen River restaurant, a few times.
Just the one time at the Prairie Grid. That was it, just very briefly. Yeah.
But she's definitely a forward-thinking restaurateur and chef, and I think we're very lucky to have her in Canada, specifically this part of Canada too. We need someone to sort of champion prairie cuisine. I think she does a great job of that.
I've never the whole marinating carrots before you cook them thing. That just never really occurred to me either, because like either you see them like in a brine or you'll toss them in something quickly before you roast it in the oven. But I've just never really thought about that, and you'll get the crispy texture and everything.
Yeah, Christy Peters.
It's a really smart idea, and I'm making them tonight. Okay.
You are? Oh wow. Okay.
Instagram.
All right. Well, we are getting to the end of the show. I feel like these shows go by pretty fast these days, don't they? Now that we're kind of getting into a rhythm. But as usual, we like to end things off with a bit of a musical number. So we try and have a different, very obviously always talented Canadian musician from different parts of the country join us at the end. So I'm going to swap over here and have a little chat with Brooklyn Duran, a musician out of Toronto. Oh, there she is. Hey, how are you?
Hi. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. How's life in Toronto? How are you enjoying being cooped up these days?
It's a beautiful day, and I'm lucky that I have a little bit of outdoor space that I'm able to sit in, enjoy the sun, do a bit of gardening. It's been okay.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's good. So you have a new single out right now, Tomorrow Never Comes. Do you want to talk to me a bit about this new song and how you wrote it, why you wrote it?
So Tomorrow Never Comes is a song that I wrote about my friend Andrew Henderson, who's from Clandeboye, Manitoba, just south of Gimli.
Oh.
And he unfortunately passed away from lung cancer in 2016. And I had a final conversation with him a few weeks before he passed away. And this song is about that conversation. And something I really wanted to do with that song is to be able to give back to a community that supports queer and trans people living with cancer. And part of that is the Will Monroe Fund is a foundation that is based in the 519, a charity on Church Street in Toronto. And the 519 right now is supporting a lot of queer and trans people who are unable to have access to support due to COVID-19. But the Will Monroe Fund is something that we're donating all of the proceeds from Tomorrow Never Comes.
Oh, that's amazing. The song, you can definitely feel the authenticity in it in the heart. So to hear that backstory, I think is really powerful.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah. And so you haven't made music for a few years. Yeah, I think you had about a 3-year break in between your singles.
Good.
Want to talk a bit about why musicians sometimes take time off?
Yeah, so actually the recording process of making music is really, it's very difficult and also all-encompassing. So after my first record came out, I toured for a little bit, and then I released a second EP. And I was touring that EP for almost 2 years. And a lot of people are like, wow, you're on tour. You must have so much material to write. And really, I find that this is a weirdly perfect time, but it's only when I get that moment to catch my breath that I'm able to reflect back on those experiences to write them. So I was touring for about 3 years, and in the last year, I wrote an album, and all the album is ready. It's recorded, it's mastered, it's waiting in the wings. But I think we're going to release that record after everyone is allowed to go outside and hug each other.
Yeah. You know what? I feel like that sounds like a very good idea given the current state of affairs.
Totally.
So you're not going to sing your current single today because you have a song that talks a bit about a kitchen, right?
Yes, I wanted to do my song called The Kitchen Song.
I feel like that is very fitting and like the perfect way to end this show. So I'm going to let you take it from here. Brooklyn Door and everybody.
Awesome.
All right.
This song is called There's a Light On in the Kitchen, or The Kitchen Song. And it's about going out late at night and the person you love leaving the light on in the kitchen for you when you get back. All right, here we go. Thank you so much, by the way, for having me.
Too dangerous, so why can't you stay? We'll look for ghosts beneath the stairs. So when you leave, I won't be less scared. There's a light on in the kitchen, no matter how late you go out. There's a light on in the kitchen. I'd ask for you to stay the night. There's a light on. Here, there's a light on. I've drawn away the curtains so you can look inside. See into my living room. Look into my life. And in these darkened hours, when everyone's asleep, there's a light on in the kitchen. If you remember where I left the key, there's a light on. Here, there's a light on. Here, there's a light on in the kitchen. No matter how late you go out, there's a light on in the kitchen. I'd ask for you to stay the night. There's a light on. Here, there's a light on. Here, there's a light on. Here, there's a light.
Woo! Yes, that was great. All right. Okay. I feel like my mic or my camera. Oh, there I am. Hello, I'm back. Okay. Brooklyn, that was wonderful. Thank you so much. We have your song on our Eat North cooking playlist on Spotify, and we'll definitely post your profile and links to your new music on our Facebook page. But thank you so much for closing the show. It's always such a nice way to end.
Sweet. Thank you.
Fantastic. And Mairlyn, Mike, shall we do this again next week? Same time?
I think so, and I'm going to leave my light on in my kitchen going forward so that I'm always welcoming you back into my house.
Oh.
That's lovely. I don't have anything to say that's as lovely as that. So.
Aw.
Yeah. All right. Okay, everybody.
Everybody have a wonderful weekend. Whatever you're celebrating, we're celebrating Easter, and I don't know what I'm going to cook, but it's going to be something different, and that's okay. So have a wonderful weekend, everybody.
All right. Goodbye.
As well.
Stay home.
Eat North Variety Pack. Food and friends with Canada's best. From east to west, there and back. Eat North Variety Pack. 'Cause variety is the spice of life.